right, of freedom in your eyes. I can see the arrows flying and crossing the sky. I found a road where I hear the bottle cry. I can hear the nation tonight. Walk the road and hear the bottle cry. Feel the pride when you hear the distant pipes.
It's a wee bit.
As the thunder in the field echoes through my mind, I can't talk, I can't breathe, I can't see, I can't believe this can't be true. What will it take? I find my flag.
Money when they started up.
I fly my flag for the nation's pride. I fly my flag for the seas. The lions roar, the silence rings. You left the rain, turn to pain. Drag people up the street, bring them in here, they make a look better. That's better now.
Lands all in it, then turns around, and that's why we need out. See, oh, Westminster's just a jockey. Oh, Jesus that drive okay. Oh, Westminster's just a jockey. We know what it's all about. Hey.
Up to the pipes and out to the water park.
It's got to get a wee bit narrow up here because I had some cracks. Well, that's great there.
Oh, the ending family are freedom, freedom. We will end Westminster rules. Join with us today. Going to march all night, going to march all day. Bet your money on the Sultan's flag and be on its way. When the Treaty of Union is dissolved, freedom, freedom. Scotland's problem will be solved. Goodbye the UK. Going to march all night, going to march all day. Bet your money on the Sultan's flag and be on its way. Hey!
I know, I was just thinking that myself, man. There's a lot of flags going that as well, and I was telling them this morning.
Half inch up, honey, baby.
Evidence. What's the shooter? What's that, sorry? The man knows evidence. Yeah, in the Herald, it was
Unless you're
start singing again, if you dance to ask what your name is. Indie Lindy, and then this one's name was, I think I was going to Carol.
scars or bruised, you'll see. We gather with proud Scottish people to fight for our land to be free. And as the time goes by, watch as we multiply. Soon everyone will see. We are patriots, one and all. You can tell by the roar when we answer the call. We are patriots, one and all. We're fighting for Scotland and freedom for all. We are patriots, one and all. You can tell by the roar when we answer the call. We are patriots, one and all. We're fighting for Scotland and freedom for all.
This is the new homesick, so I was in my early 20s.
Peter, it's great to be here, folks. If ever there was a case for independence to be made, it's what's happening in the British Parliament at the minute. Because you can see there things unveiling which we are powerless as a country or a people to do anything about. The tragedy on Wednesday, where people, families and children died in the English Channel trying to seek sanctuary in the United Kingdom and being drowned for the attempt, and the wickedness of the British government in trying to condemn those people as being responsible for their own misery and trying to persecute them even more. And of course the truth of the matter is that the only reason why people get in those small flimsy votes and spend their life savings is because they are fleeing persecution, looking for a place of safety, and this Tory government has closed down every other avenue that is open to them. So they have no choice but to make this arduous and perilous journey. My friends, if Scotland were an independent country, our attitude would be entirely different. We would reach out the hand of friendship to those people who have been displaced by global conflict, particularly conflict in which the United Kingdom is historically very much responsible. If we look at what is happening economically and the way the Tories are changing things slowly under the guise and under the cloak of COVID, you can see a fundamental shift taking place from the poor to the rich. Despite what they might tell you, the benefit cuts that have come in the last few months, combined now with taxes being increased for the basic rate taxpayers, whilst the most generous tax cuts in history are protected for the super rich, that is a sign of a government who knows on whose side it is. And it is not the side of the ordinary people of Scotland, nor indeed the ordinary people of England. But we sit there frustrated, voting against this government when it takes these measures, but knowing that we will be unable to change it because their majority is so great. That is why I want an independent Scotland, so that we can build a society with a fair system of reward and taxation, which is based on the principles of fairness and working together cooperatively. That is something I fear we are never going to see if we stay in the United Kingdom. And why must we forever be hitched to this conservative colossus in the south, which prevents and frustrates the aspirations of the Scottish people when they want to do something different, when they want to do something better? And the third example of why we need independence about what's been happening is to do with the climate. We had the COP26 in Glasgow with Boris Johnson and other Tory ministers, bringing up their largesse and lording themselves over the climate change movement and trying to pretend that they were on its side. There were some positive things came out of the Glasgow statement, but not nearly enough. We need to do an awful lot more, and an awful lot more quickly, if we are able to tackle the climate catastrophe that is upon this country and upon the earth as a whole. And that is why, if we had the agency of being an independent country, we would be able to do so much more. And that is why I want Scotland to be independent, rather than sit and watch a Tory government that is about to consider licensing 50 new oil and gas projects when it says it's trying to phase them out. A Tory government hell-bent on delivering nuclear power, the most expensive and dangerous way of producing energy that there is, while starving this country of the resources we need to develop marine tidal energy, which is safe, renewable and abundant, and yet we don't have the capacity and the necessary resources to develop that. If we were an independent country and able to marshal our own resources, that is exactly the type of thing we could do, because the priorities of that Scottish Government would reflect the priorities of the people of Scotland, not of the Conservative Party. And that is why I want independence as well. Now, these are powerful arguments, but there are still many people in our country who do not understand them and who do not agree with them. They are yet to be convinced. And we are now in a 2-year period where we will have to try and make sure that they are convinced and brought to our side. So we need 1 million ambassadors for these arguments. We need to reach out to people and explain to them that the reason why we want independence, it's not about the icons and the symbols of Scottishness. It's not about flags or emblems. We have them in abundance. What we don't have is the democratic power over our own lives. And that is what independence gives us. It gives us the ability to use the resources of this country for the people of this country, to restructure our society in a fair and democratic way, where no one is left behind and everyone is respected. That is what we will do when we get the chance to build a new Scotland. And let me say this, when we talk to people about these arguments, we have to confront these people. There was only one guy with a Union Jack waving at us today, but there are many more. There are many more unionists out there who will try and demonise this movement. They will call us separatists in a pejorative way, as if we were trying to build bridges between people, isolate ourselves and float Scotland off into the Atlantic Ocean. Nothing could be further from the truth. We want the political agency of independence in order to reach out and build bridges, to play our part in this world, to fulfill our potential as one of the world's nations, and to work with others in Britain, Europe and across the globe to deal with the challenges which we face. We cannot do that at the minute. The views, the aspirations of Scotland and the character of its people are hidden and frustrated by the Union at the minute. It is the Union that keeps Scottish opinion separate and suppressed, and it is independence that will allow it to flourish. Now, I know that this has been a long, difficult year, and I know that we've had many disagreements within our movement, and I know that today in particular COVID and the cold has conspired against us to reduce our numbers. But be in no doubt that this is coming. Last May, this May, 6 months ago, we had an election amongst the people of this country, and they were asked whether or not they wanted the chance to consider afresh the notion of becoming an independent state. And they voted in their majority for representatives in this building to deliver on that promise. And I say to you this, that in a democratic society, if an elected government does not deliver on its central manifesto promise, then that would be a catastrophe for democracy. And it cannot happen. So actually, the Scottish Government, which I should remind you, the Scottish Government that we have today has an even larger pro-independence majority than the Scottish Government that was elected in 2011. But that government has no choice. It cannot do anything other than have a referendum. So these arguments about, are we going to have a referendum? It is not a question of if. It is a question of when. Now, you know as well as I do that this has been a difficult year, and we have been dealing with the catastrophe of COVID. And we have lost many friends and relatives along the way. And that pandemic, as you can see from the news today, is not yet in the rear-view mirror. And that has constrained us, because I don't want to argue about the future of my country, you know, over a Zoom screen, arguing through a computer. I want to be able to look people in the eye and talk to them and convince them about the benefits of becoming an independent country. So I want this pandemic behind us so that we are able once again to come out and campaign in the way that we did so wonderfully in 2012 to 2014. But I believe that will come. And I believe that as we go forward into the spring, we will set the timetable for another independence referendum. And it is not a matter of waiting until the opinion polls are at a certain height. We don't do that. We have to set a date. And when we set a date, I believe that that will galvanize our movement. I believe that that will bring people together. It will re-energize people, and it will give them something to aim for, and they will once again rally to the call in the way that they did in 2012. Let me finish by saying this. That if you compare where we are now in coming forward to at the end of 2021, compare that to 10 years ago, which was the first time a majority parliament was elected, pledged to have an independence referendum. Think of the differences that there are between then and now. In 2011, there were only 6 members of the Westminster Parliament in Scotland who supported independence. Only 6, less than 10%. 90% were hostile. Today, 85% of Scotland's MPs support independence. Today we have a bigger majority for independence in that building than we had 10 years ago. And, crucially, public opinion, even on a bad day, the polls show that public opinion is evenly divided, with half of the population, before the campaign even starts, half of the population saying they think Scotland should become an independent country. So this is all to play for. And this is something that we are going to win. And I say to you, it's a nice sunny day today, but, you know, it's going to be a few dark nights ahead. We're finishing the campaign season of 21 now, but we should finish in good spirit. I know we've had our difficulties, I know we've had our disagreements, but we should go and rest for the winter, be safe, be with your families. But when we get into the new year, be assured that when the clocks go forward, so too will the momentum in this campaign. And we will be running through the gears in 2022, running towards a new referendum date when we shall mobilise the majority of the people in this country, a big majority, I trust, behind the principle that Scotland has the right to govern itself, and it would be infinitely better off and better served if it chose to exercise that right. That's what to play for, so please be safe, have a good Christmas, and we'll see you on the campaign trail next year. Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy. Excellent. A lot to think about there. A lot to agree with. I'll be saying a few words myself shortly, and I'll be talking about the people in this building as well. I might not be quite as gentle with them as Tommy is, but then I don't have his problem. I'm not a member of the SNP, and I'm not a politician, so I can say what the hell I like, and I probably will. Right now, however, it's time for some music and dancing to get you warmed up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rants.
Good afternoon. It's a bit cold today, isn't it? Anyhow, we're a band from Arbroath, and we're going to keep you entertained just for a little while. We'll start off with the choral and then we'll go into some Scottish stuff. Okay, hope you enjoy. Okay, we're going to continue with a song by the Corries. It's called Welcome Royal Charlie. It's bloody cold, isn't it?
A man that should your king be, he wore the royal red and green. Upon your land you'll never see. And our young royal Charlie, and Charlie and the Highland shield are gathered we, the great Loch Hill, a sick a kindness did me.
I was bound for Cardiff. Oh yeah, what place that I know right well. So very well, my old true love, when I return, united we will be. Oh, we will be! It's not believing on Liverpool that made me. But my darling, when I think of you, I am bound on a Yankee Clifford ship. Davy Crockett is her name, and her captain's name is Burgess, and they say that she's a floating hell. So very well, my old good love, when I return, united we will be. Oh, we will be! It's not believing of Liverpool that raised me, but my darling, when I think of you, I sailed with Burgess once before, and I think I know him well. As a man, a sailor, he won't get along if he's not made sure in hell. So very well, my old true love, when I return, united we will be. Oh, we will be! It's not believing on Liverpool that raised me, but my darling, when I think of you. Well, the ship is in the harbour of love, and I know I can't remain, and I know it'll be a long, long time before I see you again. So very well, my old true love, when I return, united we will be. Oh, we will be! It's not believing on Liverpool that raised me. Oh, my darling, when I think of you. Come on, China, last one. So very well, my old true love, when I return, united we will be. Oh, we will be! It's not believing on Liverpool that raised me. Oh, my darling, when I think of you. Take it away. Farewell, ye dark and lonely hills. Farewell, farewell to thee. Macpherson's time will no be long on yonder gallows tree.